for finance leaders. For this, I would request Mr. Vishal Chowdhry, Director Finance, Keysight Technologies. Mr. Vishal Chowdhry is experienced finance director with a demonstrated history of working in financial services, manufacturing and service businesses. Skilled in lead change performance management, management information system, leadership and financial reporting. Strong finance professional with a CA focused in accounting and finance from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Vishal Chowdhry?
Can somebody raise hands on the last? Thank you so much. So was the lunch good? Yeah? What was the best dish on the lunch today? Best non-vegetarian dish? Custard, non-vegetarian. Okay, I'm trying to wake you up. What was the best vegetarian dish except custard? Anybody? Nobody? Mitali, khana badhiya lagao agli baar. Okay, so the topic is sustainability, ESG and role of the CFO. So let me start with three iconic structures. Can anybody tell me what this one is? Eiffel Tower. Where is it located? Paris. City of Love. Good. What is this? Golden Gate Bridge. Where is it located? San Francisco. What is this? Howrah. Very nice. Can you tell me when was Golden Gate opened to public? Take a guess. Sorry? 2020, 4 साल पहले. 1920? 1906, 1920, 1937. Very good. Eiffel Tower? I think it's 37. I don't know the answer. It's going to come out. 1880s. Very nice. Howrah? 1943. Pretty accurate. Did you see my slides? Okay, so they're still standing, right? 1889, 100 plus years, still standing. How come? Earthquakes, storms, extreme colds. Now Paris is 10 degrees hotter in the last 10 years. Still the Eiffel Tower standing, no contraction, expansion of metal. It's pure metallic stuff, right? All three of them? Still standing. How come? There's some upkeep. Obviously, there is some upkeep. Not a lot of upkeep, right? They never close it because that's a major tourist attraction. They don't close the Golden Gate Bridge. You can't close the Howrah, unfortunately. According to me, this is sustainability. Something that you create today lasts for a very, very, very long time with minimum maintenance. So if you Google up Golden Gate Bridge, they tell you they have about 10 people who maintain the Golden Gate Bridge 24/7, 10 people, okay. Those 10 people also paint it once a year or twice a year whenever it goes for repainting, right? And it collects toll. The Eiffel Tower is a major tourist attraction. It's one of the most visited places in the world, collects a lot of fees, so they make money out of it. Howrah, unfortunately, you know, India, we can't charge people too much money. But if you just reflect all three of them, did they result in economic development? So the two parts of land across the San Francisco Bay connected by a bridge, obviously traffic improves, real estate develops, factories, and you know, now it's called the IT capital of the world. Same with Howrah, the station is on one side, the city is on the other side, and obviously Eiffel Tower. So they did lead to economic development, right? Big time, right? They're sustainable. They don't need any more cutting of trees and you know watering and building of roads. जैसे कि दिल्ली में होता है, हम टार रोड उतारते हैं हर साल, फिर लगा देते हैं वही टार वाली रोड, फिर अगले साल उतार देते हैं. And the best part is हम नवंबर में शुरू करते हैं ये काम दिल्ली में, unfortunately. So what sustainability means to me? I am giving my perspective. I am not an ESG expert. I am trying to study ESG and waiting for my certification. But this is my view on everything that we do in life is try and do it for a longer term. Okay. So we talked about short-term cash flows and long-term cash flows and short-term projects and long-term projects. As long as you have a vision for the future and you're working towards that piece by piece, I think you're building a sustainable ecosystem. That's the way I see it. Okay? So, two very simple definitions of sustainability. I have Googled everything. I'm not intelligent, I'm just doing a copy paste. Okay? My control C, control V is better. So, ability to maintain, support something for the long term, and it justifies your need without depriving people's needs of the future. Okay? So, if you go back to San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate, or you go to Howrah, or you go to Eiffel Tower, obviously it used up tons of steel. Obviously it would have been 3-4 years of construction and havoc to the city, but it's giving benefits for generations in the future. May not be a perfect example, but is a good enough example to talk about sustainability. Okay? Any idea what is this? Some industrial hub? Take a guess. Yes? Which one? Yeah, Jamnagar. So, this is the Jamnagar refinery. Now, anybody knows a very famous story about the Jamnagar refinery? Sorry? Okay, one of the world's biggest manu farms. Anything else? Sorry? Okay, very good. Anything else? Kind of self-sufficient. So, there is a case study about the Jamnagar refinery. There were two big decisions that Dhirubhai Ambani forced his sons to accept. The first one was to triple the capacity. It was originally projected at a 9 million tons capacity a year. And through the various discussions, looking at the market trends, looking at the demand for petroleum products, so on and so forth, one fine day, I don't know whether it was one fine day or not, suddenly they started talking about 27 million tons a year refining capacity. Okay, so that was one decision. What did that decision do? Any guesses? CFOs suddenly koi bole, I'm going to triple the capacity of the plant. Kya impact aayega? Cost, capital, right? Anything else? Sorry? Environment, okay. Anything else? Yeah, negative cash flow, capital required. Okay, so now you've made the decision, you've invested, बन गया 27 million ton का refinery. अब क्या होगा? आपके ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट या पीएनएल में क्या चल रहा है? सॉरी? नहीं, डिमांड है यार, तेल मतलब गाड़ी कैसे चलाओगे? डिमांड है, सब सही चल रहा है, रेवेन्यू आ रहा है, पीएनएल में क्या हो रहा है? रिफाइनरी की कॉस्ट 3 टाइम्स हो चुकी है. कैपेक्स बढ़ा या ओपेक्स बढ़ा? पहले कैपेक्स बढ़ा, ओपेक्स में कैसे आएगा? डेप्रिसिएशन. कैश एक्सपेंस है, नॉन कैश? नॉन कैश. टैक्स बेनिफिट मिलेगा, राइट? So, whenever you take decisions which are capex or opex, think of the short term and long term. EBITDA impact होगा, interest बढ़ जाएगा, लेकिन tax benefit मिल जाएगा, cash flow बढ़ जाएगा, आपका non cash expense आ जाएगा, so on and so forth. So, this has two very important decisions that were taken. One was the 9 to 27 million. The other one, any guesses? Very, very critical. And this was again Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani one day decided मुझे तो ये चाहिए. Any idea? So, there was a meeting going on in which he said he was proposed that let's put a refinery with a strength to tolerate Richter scale 6 earthquakes, because never in the last 75 years an earthquake has happened more than 5.5 Richter. And he said no, we'll take it to 8, which means another 6,000 crores of capex. Okay? And he refused to budge. Do you know the Richter scale of the earthquake in Bhuj in Gujarat in 2001? Sorry? 7.5. 7.5. And the refinery was untouched. So, suppose they had gone with a 6 Richter. Okay, what would have happened? Major loss, yes. But what else? Suspension of manufacturing, refinery, so on. Yaar, wo timer nahi aa raha, so I don't know. What else? Redoing the plant, redoing the capex, probably higher insurance next time you go, because your insurance would have paid you millions to refurbish it. Revenue loss for some time, absolutely. Disruption in oil supply in the country, outside the country, prices, all of that. Okay? But that didn't happen. The whole of Gujarat was impacted, but this refinery stayed untouched. So that's sustainability. I know it has environmental negative impacts, and we'll come to that. But whenever you think of disrupting the ecosystem, do it for really, really, really long term so that you don't have to revisit your decisions again and again. Okay? So there are 3 bullet points. I'll just quickly read it out. One was 9 to 27 million. The other was the 5.5 to 8. And when this happened, he called up Anil Ambani, because Anil Ambani used to manage the finances that time of Reliance. And he told them, you know, I told you so. Okay, so what are the 3 pillars of sustainability? E, S and G, right? E stands for environment, S stands for social, G stands for governance. तो आपको सब कुछ पता है. So environmental, economic and social. Why is economic sustainability important? Sorry? Come on, you're right. Say it. Yeah, no purpose of being in existence if you are not economically viable. Absolutely. So whenever decisions are made, ROI, CBA, it was talked about earlier, is very, very critical. You are not going to be environmentally friendly if you're losing money and you're going to close down shop and you're going to create unemployment in the system, which is going to create more havoc, right? Now, everybody's heard of the Delhi-Mumbai corridor? Yeah. Yes? And everybody's seen the Rajdhani that used to leave from Delhi and go to Bombay? Pretty much the same route, right? Why are they building this corridor? पूरा ट्रेन ट्रैक एग्जिस्ट करता है और पेड़ कट रहे हैं, नई सड़क बन रही है, उसमें सीमेंट लगेगा, स्टील लगेगा, टार लगेगा, फिर उसको मेंटेन करते रहेंगे. डज इट मेक सेंस? व्हाई? ऑफ कोर्स. ट्रेन ट्रैक के ऊपर क्यों नहीं बिल्ड कर रहे? सो आई एम नॉट नितिन गडकरी. आई विश आई वॉज. आई वुड हैव गिवन हिम दिस सजेशन. द आइडिया हियर इज व्हेन वी आर टेकिंग डिसीजंस फॉर द बिजनेस, always evaluate whether we can do something on top or do we want to do something new. Because whenever you go to do something new, it's a new project, new investment, new money, new capital. But there are always avenues where you could just have done something incremental and you would have saved tons of money. And you would have been good on E and S and G, all 3 of them. So one of the things that at least I try to tell people whenever I am part of a decision making exercise is, do we really need to change everything? Everybody seen 3 Idiots? Yeah? Everybody remembers that pen wala scene, $1 million pen? और उन्होंने pencil क्यों नहीं use किया? That's ESG. You spend $1 million researching, using tons of plastic and then building I mean it's an analogy, building something that small, you could just use a 2 rupee pencil. So sometimes the solution is really, really obvious and simple, but we want to invent or reinvent, right? Okay, what are the benefits of being sustainable in business? So I am not going to talk about ESG. What are some of the benefits that you see if you have a sustainable ecosystem? Any benefits to the business? I've only got 2 minutes. Sorry, future generation is secured. Okay, very aspirational. But any other benefit? Business, if people come to know that you are following sustainable practices, what is the benefit to the business? Okay, no protest, no adverse impact, very good. It's mostly branding also, positive branding. Do you think sustainable practices could also be cost positive or contribute to the cost? Sorry? More payback period. Why do you say that? I want to question you on that. Yeah, more, perfect. More payback period. Sorry, I thought you meant to say longer payback period. Okay, according to me, there are 3 real benefits if you actually evaluate sustainability very closely. And it's again the $1,000,000 pen versus pencil example. If we can make small incremental changes, which are long term, we position it correctly, we brand it correctly, the adaptability will be higher and they will give you immediate returns. So the payback period will be faster. So I'm going to take a very simple example. CapEx versus OpEx, everybody understands, right? Today, every company gives you laptops to work on, right? Everybody has choices which laptop you want to use. Yes? Do you ever consider the capacity of the battery when you're buying a laptop? We consider phone ना 8 घंटा चलेगा 12 घंटा, लैपटॉप का कभी सोचा है? क्यों? You are not supposed to. Okay. Apple versus HP. How many people use Apple? I'm not against HP, but I'm just picture यही मिला. Apple. How frequently do you need to charge your laptop, sir? Once in a day. Anybody else? And you have intense usage, right? You take your calls and everything. Yeah. I charge it once in 2 days. I love the Mac. It took me time to adapt from a Windows PC to the Mac operating system. But it's a very small thing, right? आपकी battery consumption, electricity consumption on charging your laptop reduces. Very simple thing. Sorry? Marginally, not too much, not too much. We've done that comparison. It's not too high. So there are lots of advantages. I'm just giving you one very, very simple example. I'll give you a couple of more. बताइए sir. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the usage. I totally agree. Yeah, you know, if you're doing high-tech jobs, you're doing gaming, you're doing, your Power BI, Power Query, all of that stuff, I totally agree. मैं इतना काम नहीं करता, तो मुझे ज़्यादा idea नहीं है. But there are the advantages that I see when I take that decision is some of these parameters. They may not be perfect. All I'm trying to say is when you're taking a decision, think about the things that are important to you and take a decision that you think is more viable, more sustainable for you individually. Another thing that you should appreciate, I'm being very stingy on this. Most of the times we charge our laptops either in the office or home. I charge mine at home. The lesser time it takes to charge, the lesser battery, the power it consumes. I feel happy about it. How many of you have coffee vending cups in the office, the paper cups? Just one person? बाकी सबने कप्स हटा दिए? कभी अटेम्प्ट हुआ कप्स हटाने का कि यार कल से कप्स नहीं है, अपने आप मैनेज करो? हुआ? चला? कैसे चला सर बताइए? Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. If you make sustainability as the bottom line and you say we are trying to be environmentally friendly, we're going to give you cups, we're going to give you water bottles, we're going to brand ourselves on that, the adoption is better. If you just go tomorrow and say मैं 25 पैसे पर कप बचाऊंगा, मेरे 800 कप दिन में यूज़ होते हैं, then people will say यार पागल हो गए हैं लोग, चवन्नी अठन्नी गिन रहे हैं. So it depends how you project the purpose, the intent of your decisions. And if the intent of your decisions is well communicated, the adoption is higher. Okay? Ever seen this in bathrooms? Sorry, I'm taking very small examples. Yeah? Does it exist? One more minute. Does it exist today? Very rarely. A lot of companies tried this, they took it out. Why? Because you have to take out the cloth and wash it every day. It's not sustainable, it's not environmentally friendly. You're using water, right? And detergent, you're absolutely right. And sometimes people don't like to use it because it's been used by somebody else. So again, think it through. One of the things that a lot of companies have started doing is they've started advertising the negative effects of things like coffee, sugar, some of the snacks that they keep, Coke, multiple places in the office. Why are they doing that? They want to deter you from having it. The more you deter from having it, the less coffee, tea breaks you take. The less coffee, tea breaks you take, the more productive you become. Hopefully, if you're not engaged in office politics and gossip. And ultimately, there is an ROI for every action. So these are very, very small examples, but if you go back and, sorry. If you go back and reflect, each of the decisions, if you link it back to, is my decision long term? Is it sustainable? Is it acceptable? How will I publicize it? If you work on this, there are lots and lots of actions which will give you positive ROI. Quickly, everybody heard of 2% CSR spend? Government of India 2013 enactment, Companies Act, right? I was at a conference with the director of IICI, CA, and I asked him, why don't you have aggregation of CSR spends? And he had no answer. And I personally feel if you are doing the social part of it, the CSR, try and look for aggregation and make meaningful impacts. Okay, I'm just going to rush through because of time. Just a snapshot: 9.3 lakh crore is the average profit, is the profit for companies listed on BSE in 2021. 2% of that is about 18,000 crores. That's the kind of aggregation of CSR funds. A whole city's metro can be funded if everybody pools the money together, right? And one of the proposals I had suggested to him was make L&T pool the money together and just build it. You don't need bureaucrats signing off, and a lot of corruption will be saved. But anyway, companies use CSR for branding very differently. There are some companies like Bath and Body Works or Body Shop that use it very positively. They're not using chemicals, etc., etc. There are some companies that use it less, like an H&M or whatever, by doing away with plastic bags, and some don't. But Decathlon does a fantastic job. They're recycling plastics and converting it into fabric. So think about those kind of things that are happening in your environment and how you can get engaged. Last but not the least, reporting is a challenge. It's difficult to measure. We were, Yogesh, I don't know if he's still here, he was talking about measuring carbon footprint through through a third party agency that comes and certifies how much carbon credits they get. But there are some things that are very simple to measure, so focus on those ones right now. If you start focusing on the simple things to measure and start reporting it, your ESG reporting in compliance with the GRI will become stronger and stronger, and you will ultimately get there. You will ultimately start getting the complex reporting, but start simple. Keep it small, keep it basic. That's it. Thank you so much.